Welcome to Chattel Fixtures PEI Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, David Cyrus MacDonald. In this episode, we talk with realtor Kelly Reddin, who is part of the Shaw team at Royal LePage Prince Edward Realty and the owner of the Perfect Pear Bridal Boutique in historic downtown Charlottetown. It is that combination of working both in helping brides pick the perfect wedding dress and helping people find their perfect home that captured my attention, and I know I have a lot to learn from Kelly's experience. If you are interested in learning more about PEI real estate, please like and subscribe to Chattel Fixtures on YouTube or your favorite podcast player, and visit us at chattelfixtures.com. Okay, here we go. Kelly Reddin is a realtor and part of the Shaw team at Royal LePage Prince Edward Realty and the owner of the Perfect Pear Bridal Boutique, which is located in Charlottetown and owned and operated in downtown Charlottetown.
Yeah. Correct.
Kelly has been a realtor for about 2 years, and I recently had the benefit of hearing her speak on a panel in a real estate course and wanted the opportunity to ask all the questions myself and learn from her experience breaking into the world of realty. On the bridal boutique front, the Perfect Pear offers personalized service in an intimate and inviting environment. Let Kelly Reddin and her friendly consultants help you select a gown from their carefully curated designs that will suit your taste and any budget. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you for the dig.
Yeah. I get a little plug in there to get things started.
To get things going. We're the only bridal store in Charlottetown.
The only bridal store in Charlottetown.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Well, that's...
And I started in 2012, May of 2012.
Oh, happy 10-year anniversary.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I thought it'd be interesting actually to maybe start off. I'm just going to put these questions aside for now because I feel like we can just talk. So one of the things that sort of made me want to talk with you is this intersection of owning a bridal boutique and realty. So on the one hand, you're dealing with people in the realty world of what in most cases is probably the biggest purchase they'll ever make in their life.
Yep.
But then weddings are often the biggest day in someone's life.
And then the biggest personal purchase, like a dress, is usually the biggest purchase that they'll ever do, of a piece of clothing.
Right.
Yes.
So all these intersections. So I'm just imagining there's a special headspace that you get into around weddings and marriages where it has this elevated thing and family comes together, people, friends, they rally together around this really special moment in a person and a couple's life. So, and then similar but different in that, the individual or couple, right. So how do you, I don't really have necessarily a specific question, but I'm just curious on how you'll elaborate on this, but how do you wake up in the morning and go into work and remember that you're interacting with people with something so elevated? Like, do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean, but it doesn't seem like that. It just seems like a special day. I'm there to guide them.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing as I am to guide them to find a house. I'm there to guide them to find a dress for their special day.
Right.
They tell me what their vision is of what they want, what they need,
Mm-hmm.
where they're getting married. Same thing as a house, where they want to be, where they like what they envision the future to be, and that property. It's the same thing.
Right.
So it's just kind of like I'm a guidance to help them along the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when they come in, okay. So when bride comes in to the Perfect Pear, what happens when they come in the door?
So they come in and we have a private room all set up. It's like a living room.
Would they normally schedule this in
Yes,
advance?
they would normally schedule it in advance because we usually have one-on-one.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can drop in.
Oh, just you and the bride?
Bride and their entourage.
Entourage. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
go
the
ahead.
entourage is usually up to 6 people. So they can take who they want to come along to their appointment. The more people, the more opinions is what we like to say. So we kind of like make sure you pick the people that you want their opinion.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
And
okay. Sorry. Yeah. I might, so many tangents are coming off here. Do you have many times where a bride comes in and you notice them picking their dress to satisfy someone else in the party that they brought, as opposed to them, their own vision?
Yeah. So then I have my personal time with them behind the curtain, and we talk about the dress. I usually talk to them first about the dress.
Yeah.
And then if there's an opinionated person, I'll be like, okay, what do you think they want? Not what you want. What do you think the bride wants?
Right.
So I try to veer it back to
what they want
versus what the entourage is thinking that they want for themselves.
Oh.
Because usually it's not the bridezillas. Like there's no bridezillas. Right. It's usually the entourage. That's usually the part that you have to manage. To manage a little bit more.
Yeah, because the bride, it's their wedding.
It's their wedding. Yeah.
So you would think it would be their choice. But isn't that like a lot of things in life?
There is. But you know what? People are becoming more, they will stand up for themselves a little bit more. Like I'm finding
in general?
Like the brides will be like, no, mom, this is what I want. Like, oh no, this is not too low. Oh no, this is exactly what I'm looking for. And so you just have to kind of guide the people to be on the bride's side.
On the bride's side.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Lots of psychology in there.
There's a lot of psychology.
And I don't have a psychology background. I have a business background, but not a psychology background.
Oh, wow. I just maybe this is delving a little too personal for me, but I've had some big changes in my life, and sometimes
same here.
Okay, yeah, and sometimes with those big changes, I mean, you have your own transition to deal with, but a big part of that is managing all the other people in your orbit and the transition that they have.
Exactly. Yes.
With any of these big life changes.
Yes.
And so,
and I'm in the
you're right in there.
I'm in the business that's in that.
Yeah.
Going through this.
Yes.
Big
on
the
front end.
Yes. So it's I had to put all that stuff aside, as same as I do like personal opinions of a property. Like I will tell you, point at the things that I see that you as another set of eyes, but I won't say the property. If it's a real bad dive, I'll say it might not be the best investment. Yeah. But I'm not going to say, no, this is not for you. And you'd be turned around and go, oh, we absolutely love this place.
Right. Yeah.
You kind of have to wait for the person or your client to say, yes, I like it or I don't like it. It's their life. You don't live their life, but you're there to guide them on, okay, point this out, point that out. So you're aware. These are the things that I see as a professional that you need to be aware of.
How do you manage that going into the situation? So like say if it's a buyer you're dealing with, and it's someone who's talking to you, says, okay, we're in this phase where we want to buy. Maybe they even have their budget idea and the area where they want to go. Maybe they've already talked with a mortgage broker. They kind of know what they'd be approved for, and they know generally what area they want to live in. And then they talk to you. What do you do with that person? Like, say, first time you're meeting with them, like, do you go right to a place and start asking questions, or like, do you have kind of a way that you deal with that? Like, what's the first thing that happens from your perspective?
Well, usually I try to get on the phone with them and talk to them if I can't see them in person.
Yeah.
Or meet with them, and then on the way to a property or meet outside of a property to talk. Like, we've already gone through all the process of what they're looking for. We've had those chats.
Yeah.
Before we get there.
Right.
What you want to do kind of thing. And then I like to schedule a few of them so then we can go to the properties. You get to know them. They start to relax a little bit more after the second property, after the third property.
Yeah, it gets a little less intimidating.
Yes, a little less intimidating. It's kind of like the same, like anything. When you meet somebody for the first time, it's a little intimidating. But I think if you're yourself, and the people see that you're relaxed, that they'll become relaxed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what sort of things are you talking about before going in? Like number of bedrooms?
What they're looking for. Do they want 1 story? Do they want 2 story? Do they have any health issues that they need in the future? Do they have any relatives that are going to come that have health issues?
Like in terms of like, say if things are on the first floor,
second, like, do you want a master bathroom? Like if it's an older house, they don't usually have master bathrooms, or primary, as we call it now, primary rooms.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that was called that.
Yeah, it's called primary, not masters anymore.
Oh, primary.
Primary
Does master rooms have kind of like a gender associated with it?
So it's now primary
bedroom,
and
primary. Okay.
Primary bedroom, primary bath.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
So what they actually want that they need for their everyday lives.
Okay, yeah.
And then in an area that they want, and like people don't know, like if they're moving here from out of province and they're like, oh, I see the houses, the prices up west are really cheap. So you have to tell them what's around,
Right, yeah.
how far of a distance it is to Charlottetown, how far it is to the airport. Like,
and then they can start weighing these different
things.
And stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then go through, okay, what is the main thing that you want?
Right. Like the
is it location or is it, do you want to stay in a certain price? Can you fix things up? Can you do some of this stuff yourself?
Right.
Type of thing. So we do all that stuff beforehand. And then we're doing the searches, and then I'll send them properties. What do you think of this one? What do you not like? What do you like? Type of thing. And I do the same thing when I'm in the bridal. Like, here's dresses. Yeah.
So you're emailing stuff?
Yeah, emailing, or even when we're in the appointment, I'm like, what do you like about this dress? What do you not like about this dress? Same thing.
And then
with
you learn
houses.
that, and you're like, oh, if she likes this, then if I go get this one, it has that.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
So you're constantly looking at what's newly listed, what's out there. If you know the general area of that a client wants to live in, I'm always searching the properties to see what's new. And then, okay, would this work for them? Would it not work for them? And sometimes they won't give you all the information up front. So that's why if we get to meet with them and get 2 or 3 houses, they'll say, okay, this is not exactly what I was like. I think we need this. I think we need that.
Right.
So then you just kind of listen to them.
Right.
And then you critique your search.
Right. So, wow, that's a really cool intersection, just these two things. Like I almost feel like with everything you're saying, you could almost be talking about either business.
Exactly.
Wow. Yeah. It's funny you brought up psychology, because it's not something I think a lot about in realty, but it's so much.
It is,
isn't
it?
It?
It is so much. Yep.
Yeah. So how much, like, when someone's buying, I mean, with a dress, I got to think that is mostly just like this, like, kind of like, I don't want to say like, when people talk in real estate terms, in fact, I feel like there is more intersection, but often people talk about the logical or emotional side of the purchase.
Yeah.
Or like, maybe a different way of putting it would be like what do you picture your life being like there versus like, what are the financials and what is the resale value, or where is do you have an area for the dog to play? Where would the Christmas tree go? Where would our guests stay when we're there? There's the logical and emotional, I think, are very intersected in a lot of ways.
They are.
But I feel like particularly when people are making a decision, say about a wedding dress, or really so many things related to weddings in general, but then also to real estate in a way, you're thinking about you've got a picture in your mind of a certain life, right? And for the wedding, it's this condensed moment, and for a place you're going to live, it's this kind of extended vision. I'm just like, I'm not sure if I'm going to a certain question with this, as opposed to like, do you get in there? Like, are you?
I do. What I do is I usually go to a property first, and I'll walk around and I'll tour the place before the clients come, so that I'm getting like visually where things are, what things are. Like, where would I put things? Where would I put a couch? Where would I put a TV? Where would I put the Christmas tree?
So you're thinking of like you're picturing a life at this place.
I'm picturing these people living here in this house, and does it function for them?
For them, and what their vision is for their life. Oh, wow.
Or how can you change things to make it function for them?
Right.
And then you give them like, I'm not an expert builder or anything, but you could always look into maybe this could be done.
Right. Tearing down this wall, or adding a bathroom here, or whatever.
Or if your washer dryer's in the basement, where could you put it upstairs?
Right.
Like, because if you want everything on the main floor, then maybe it might fit here. You could look into it fitting here. You could look into it fitting here.
Okay.
And type of thing. So I was always into architectural houses, designs, and stuff like that throughout the years. And as I said, I should have got into real estate 20 years ago when I had finished university, did my business degree. Then I worked with my family for a number of years. And then I started my own business and just put it to the back burner, and had kids, and kids are growing up. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm getting older. let's try the real estate and see. Yeah.
Huh, that's
So
interesting.
just
Yeah,
for fun. And I'm like, it's just something that I always loved. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm always putting myself in, okay, where would things go?
yeah. How would
Like
this
how
function?
where would you like if you have 10 or 12 people? Like I've had a couple people like, "Oh, we have a big 12 or 16 people for Christmas dinner.
Mm,
Can you fit a table to fit 16 people
in
in
this
this kitchen?"
space,
Yeah.
yeah.
Where would they go?
Yeah.
Where would you fit everybody?
Do you have many hangups that people have that I guess there's two sides of this question. Say hangups people have that it's like, oh, this doesn't matter nearly as much as you think it's going to matter, or vice versa, where they're like, I think you're underestimating how big this challenge is. Are there any of those that have come up for you that you can think of? And
Not really.
yeah,
Like
most people are pretty like they can see what
they can
is
see
going on.
and yeah, they
And
can
they
kind of some people can see like the same thing as brides. People aren't as visual as you think they are.
right.
They're like, I can't visually see this. But then
Mm,
if you, okay, just let's work it out. Like if you put this here and you put that there,
mm,
what will it feel like?
right.
Because I can visually
So
see it
if you start painting a picture,
for them.
then they can start to see
Yes, a little bit.
see how
Yeah.
it comes up. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm honestly, that is an area that I could stand to improve on in terms of like, uh, just what would this room look like if, say, you removed that stuff from over there and you put a fresh coat of paint. I
Yes.
can kind of do it,
Yeah.
but some people really have a knack for that, and I think that's amazing. So
Yeah.
it seems like something that
That and
you've
just kind of,
had.
yeah, I kind of get it naturally. Just I'm crafty and I kind of like decorating
Do you
and
like have like these like home improvement magazines and
I
stuff
do.
like that?
I've looked at them for years
Oh yeah.
and like I have Pinterest boards and I have
Oh,
Instagram
and just the
save
way that things
boards and like
combine.
I'm like, oh, new builds. I'm gonna save that under my new builds and like yeah,
Right.
like
So it's like I feel like there's like this
and if somebody can't see something, I might have a picture and go find it and send it to them. This
oh,
is
check
what I
out
was
this
thinking.
picture. This is what I was imagining.
This is what I was imagining
Oh
for that
wow.
space. Yeah,
That is a whole side of this. That is so cool.
yeah.
Oh wow. There's so many different perspectives that people bring in this kind of thing.
I would like to eventually get into designing and building and selling. That would be that would be really
Interesting.
cool to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you thought about like maybe buying a lot and
Yes, and
yeah?
doing that.
Have you
but
looked into it at all
I
yourself?
haven't yet, just because just haven't financially gotten to that point
Yeah,
yet.
yeah, of course. It's a
But
big
when I
step.
do get there, then I think that like, and I don't like to do the traditional split entry, split levels. I like new design, like something different that's not around here. Like,
Yeah.
and I never used to like the modern, but I'm liking some of the modern, but I'm liking the country and I'm liking the, you know,
Oh,
that type of
interesting.
thing. Yeah,
This
so
could
I'm
be
like,
like the evolution of Kelly Reddin. It's
yeah,
like you
the
got the bridal
design, yeah.
boutique, you got the realty business and helping people figure out where they want to live,
Yeah.
and then this new like just like now we're forming
Yeah.
it from the ground up.
Exactly. I can build what you want.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And I'd like to do it so that you have a couple designs, almost like you have in Ontario where they have like similar outsides, but different insides. And you can choose and you can customize the things to what you want.
Have you ever thought about, and I this is not something I have experience with, but I got to think that there'd be either, well, I mean, for one, new home buyers, like, because sometimes the contractors, and I don't have, I've never purchased a new place before, but my impression is that depending on when you get in on purchasing, you can have a little bit of control as to how the
Yes.
layout goes.
Yeah.
Have you gotten into that side of business at all?
I haven't gotten into it, but I built 2 houses.
Okay.
So I've loved that aspect of it. I designed the houses.
Yeah.
And then we had the builder build them and then do all the, like, it's functionality, it's layout that I like. Okay, I can see myself coming in. Where are the groceries? Like, drop the groceries from the garage. Like, is it a long walk? Is it functional? And so
Right.
I'm going through looking for the best floor plan.
Mm.
So I love that aspect when we
And then-
did build.
Because that seems like something too where again, I'm diving into area that I
Yeah.
don't have experience, so it's just a conversation point, but I can almost imagine, say, if I were a contractor being and I would say building a new subdivision and putting in new homes and stuff like that, being like, is there someone I could bring in here to assure that what I'm doing is really kind of optimizing for the sort of person who would want to live, say, in this area.
And it's good too to
yeah.
have a contractor say, yes, you can do that. No, you can't. So that would be good to work with a contractor.
Yeah.
In the same aspect.
Yeah,
on my side,
I'm
because
just calling
I don't know
contractors here, like call Kelly Reddin, and I bet because then you could go. They could maybe it would be cool if they were like had you in as they were building the place,
exactly.
and then well, I guess you could be the listing agent too. That would be maybe
that could
an
be part
easy
of the
way
deal.
of making it so that they don't have, or you could work as a like a contractor for like a consultant.
Yes, exactly.
Potentially could be an interesting.
Yeah, it could be an interesting.
That would be cool, actually. Like that would be. Anyway, I'm not trying
to. You know how the house is built. You know what's put into the house. You can sell the house because you know all the aspects of it.
Oh yeah, and you could also be thinking about like the people that you've worked with who are buyers and what they're thinking about, and that whole idea. I think this is like a I don't know how much of this is kind of like a masculine feminine thing too, but I do think that there it is, and I don't mean to just quantify things in these narrow ways, but like there is this idea of like just like visioning that path for a beautiful life versus the like stick goes here kind of thing, how to get the finances, how to get that stuff versus like where would the bus stop to get the kids in the morning to school in the morning, like
if you ran out of eggs at night, where is the closest place to get eggs or milk?
Oh, right.
Like, is it a 10-minute drive? Is it half-hour drive?
And that's going to attract different people. Which school zone it's in, too.
Yeah, school zone. That's one thing I'd like to learn more on is zoning areas, and I still need to learn, like zoning and construction and stuff like that. Just certain things I'd like to know more about.
Yeah, oh, totally.
Yeah.
That is something that that the contractors
and just having a conversation, walking around with them, even like a home inspector, you get to learn things when you're walking around with a home inspector.
Yeah,
what they're looking for, what are the new code, like the new codes that are out. Yeah, because some are changing.
Okay, yeah.
So that would be good.
That would be good.
If there's any contractors that just want to
just have a chat, just hang out. Exactly. They could pick your brain for ideas of how to kind of address like a bigger market, and then the people who are buying would have a place that is more suited to them. So to try to optimize the space for the market, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of, I can imagine a lot of different things with that. That again, it's that intersection of like thinking of the person and where they're going with their life and what they want to do. And getting just right in there. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So maybe you work on a team.
Yes.
So you're part of the Shaw team. What are for you are the benefits of working on a team at this phase of your career versus going flying solo on your own?
Well, when I first was getting into real estate, I was like, I didn't want to go into it cold turkey, just being a new real estate agent, going hired on to a brokerage and not knowing what the heck I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to be with somebody who I trusted and knew that could be a great mentor for me. So I went and I knew Melanie Shaw.
Yeah.
So I tied a chat with Melanie and I said, listen, like I did something silly. I registered for the real estate course and I'm taking it. And she said, well, let's have a chat. So we sat down and chatted. And I said, I want somebody who I trust, who I can call, who's been in the business long enough so that I can run ideas like stuff by them. Like, okay, so if we have this clause, how do I write a clause?
Yeah.
How, like, what do I do in this situation? Mm-hmm. This has come up. Like, she's been in real estate for over 20 plus years.
Right.
So it's having that person that I could go to and have as a backup in all my transactions that I'm like, okay.
Oh, and that's comfort for your clients as well.
Exactly. And part of a team, like I have same thing with one of our other girls, Andrea Bright, who's with our team.
Yeah, I met her at an open house actually.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So she was admin and then she got her real estate license too. So now she's another realtor with our group. And then we have another gentleman that's coming on board as well. So it's just kind of like, it's it's like just having a small family that you can ask questions to. And we have a message group. Oh, here's what's happening. Here's what's new listings are coming up, that in amongst us that we can chat back and forth with. And here's what's happening in the market.
Right. Yeah. What do you think is happening in the market? Like, I know obviously we got changes in interest rates that are happening real fast.
Exactly.
And yeah, what are you telling clients right now, or what are other people on your team telling clients too?
It's like it's slowed down a bit, but it's starting to pick back up. Like the prices, we saw a big increase in prices in PEI over the last number of years because of the demand. And I think we're at a new level of pricing for PEI. I don't think it'll retract back down.
Yeah.
People are hoping it will, but I don't think it will.
Okay.
Me personally, I don't think it will go down. I think people are just scared of what the interest rate and the recession is going to do, because you don't really want to buy too big of a house that you can't afford, because what are you going to get? Like, you're going to be homeless basically if you buy too big, really.
Right. Well, or certainly it's gonna be, you could be house poor. Yeah.
You could be house poor. Yeah. And you'd just be sitting there on the floor with no furniture.
Like, right. Yeah.
Sitting in your house with no lights on and anything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's gonna be a big impact. And I was reading on one of the new CBC just had out that we're like all the immigration that's coming, and we don't have enough houses for them.
Right. Still
for the next 4 years.
For the next 4 years. Oh, that's a really tricky thing, because
there's like 1.5 million people that of immigrants
over Canada
that we're getting. So it's like 500,000 a year, and we don't have enough builders. We don't have enough contractors to build houses.
Oh, it's such a tricky thing, because people are probably nervous about building because they're like, okay, interest rates are going up. What is the price of this going to be at the end of this? Oh, I'll wait and see and stop to build. Meanwhile, we need this new inventory to fill the demand. Yeah. Oh, wow.
The price of lumber was so outrageous for a while.
And
the building supplies,
to some extent.
It's come back, which is great.
Yeah.
But now it's
interest rates.
It's interest rates and contractors.
And contractors.
You need work.
You need people doing it.
You need people to work.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part of it, is finding people.
And it takes time.
And it does.
It takes time. I mean,
it does. Who wants to be building in the middle of minus 20, 30 degrees? Nobody, not really. But there's still people
if you're
do
outside.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So like doing all that, framing and all that outdoor work early on. I know that a lot of contractors, builders they like to say in the spring and summer, try to get through all of that and then try to be on the inside during the winter.
I tip my hat to them to be working out in some of those elements. Like, I definitely wouldn't.
Yeah, well, a little hat tip to my brother Alistair who's out there working in construction right now.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, they're hard workers.
Totally.
Hard workers.
Totally. Yeah. Oh, and it's an interesting thing too, because you think about all these many moving market dynamics, and it really does feel like a time of so much uncertainty that people are feeling. And uncertainty is weird too, because you get that, people, maybe, there'd be a lot of people right now who would be maybe have the means to make a purchase, but are kind of waiting and seeing and just sort of sitting back and saying, where are things going here? And then once we settle into a new groove of some sort, then those people will be coming into the market.
Exactly.
What are you saying to people who are, say if someone owns a place and is thinking about listing it, but doesn't necessarily have, say, a time crunch in the next, say, 6 months or a year to sell it, but is just thinking about it?
Well, I think the market has slowed down enough that you can also have your closing be later, but there's no bad time to sell your property. And as I said before during our panel, real estate, you're never going to lose your hat in real estate.
Right.
It's always going to be a good investment. So
yeah, I feel like that's true if you have a long enough time horizon.
Exactly.
It was like, I think in the US, certainly around the 08, 09, the housing, there was a lot that went down. So, but if you had a long enough time horizon, then you were able to come out of that positive.
Yeah. But if somebody's looking and they don't necessarily need to sell for 6 months, but what we can do is get their house ready in that time frame to be in the best shape for them to get the top dollar that they need.
Yeah.
That could be decluttering. That could be coming in and staging, like, take out this, you need to, like, that's part of the service.
Do you do a lot of, for the Shaw team, do you do, like, what kind of services does the team or do you individually do for people who have a listing with the team?
That's usually part of the, like, when you sign on with us, that it's part of that is we go in and we help you get the best, like, what the other people are looking for, not necessarily what you want to live like you live like, but what does the other client who's coming in, what do they want? What do they, less furniture, decluttering, taking personal pictures down. We'll take, if people see family pictures, they're like, okay, well, I don't want to take this house away from them.
Right, yeah. And it's hard to picture it being your own place when you're picturing it being this other person's place.
When you're picturing it being somebody else's. So we get them to, like, declutter that, make it as look as big as possible. But we go into each individual room and teach them what needs to be done. If their bed's this way, we may say, okay, for optimal resale, maybe switch it here.
Okay, yeah.
And we'll do pictures and we'll do all that stuff and get them ready. So it could take a process.
How much staging does your team do staging itself, or do you bring in people? Or say, like, I'm just picturing someone who say has like a comforter that has, say, a specific sports team on it, or something.
So we usually will suggest that they go out and buy something neutral. It doesn't have to be expensive. Like, go out and buy something neutral that they'll have for this. There are companies out there that do staging. So if we really need to, like, there's no furniture or anything like that, we can get them to come in and stage certain rooms for the property, for pictures and stuff like that too. You'll see a lot of that. And there's also new digital staging. You'll see a lot of that going on, where if a property is empty, we will go and digitally stage the room as if it had furniture into it.
Oh, interesting.
But you also will just check the listing because it'll say if it's digitally staged or not.
Oh, okay. So that's just part of the disclosure.
Part of the disclosure on it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, we'll suggest to clients, like, and we can even take them to go shopping and go, okay, this is something neutral. Like, try not to be bold colors. Like, we want to keep you, like, kind of neutral, plain.
It's safe. And then that way a person can come in and paint their own picture.
Exactly.
You can imagine that person going in, and this is I like this perspective you're bringing me into thinking about the person's life, and you imagine kind of like if it is, say, white walls, and it'd be a lot easier to picture this certain color that speaks to you.
Or if you're an artist and you had pictures that you wanted to display, but a white background is better for them. Then you can picture your paintings on the wall.
Oh, totally. Totally. What do you think of this piece here?
I think that's pretty cool.
That's pretty neat, eh?
It is pretty neat.
Yeah. It's like, this is this is actually, I think it's set in New Brunswick. This artist named Morel No painted this, and it's meant to be kind of different perspectives. That's meant to be kind of marshes up there and the top and stuff. But I just find it just kind of gives it a little bit of a vibe. Which
it does.
I kind of like.
Yeah. I like, reminds me of the marshland coming onto the bridge.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, it is kind of like, imagine like Sackville, New Brunswick.
Exactly.
Around there, Tantramar Marsh.
The Tantramar Marsh. I know that fairly well.
Yeah. And so that is like the specific, but I just find it has kind of, it gives a little magical vibe.
Yes.
A little magical vibe.
Yeah.
And I know, sorry, we're talking about the set pieces here now, so we might as well do it. These, so I like snake plants.
Yes.
And the reason I like snake plants is I'm often a very busy person, and I have 2 kids who I have half the time, and they only need to be watered every 3 weeks. I love that.
That's pretty good. That's the kind of plant I need, because I forget to water plants. Totally. I'm like, mine are mostly artificial, and my mother has a green thumb, and I'm like, I know.
I like doing it. I like getting my hands dirty and stuff, but it falls very low on the priority list. The other thing about snake plants is, I don't verify this, but there was an article I read online that said that NASA had studied a bunch of plants and they're among the best for air quality.
Oh.
But then also I wanted to have the plants in the frame or nearby because they help diffuse the sound. So the sound will kind of bounce through it.
Off there.
And then
instead of off the
sound absorption panels we also have here. But yeah, sorry, a bit of a sidebar, but I was just thinking, imagining this space.
Because I was like looking at the pads in the corners and on the ceiling. And I'm like, for the sound.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Yeah, I have my drums over there now. They don't sound as good in that corner as
As
where I
over here?
normally have them set up.
But you need to have the window and the space and the setup for here.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. And the table. Okay, we're going a little off track
I'm sorry,
here in a way, but it's kind
off
of
track. It does,
interesting.
but it gets to know what you see. We got to talk about what you like.
Yeah, exactly.
So where your drums, you need a special room for your drums.
Most people don't need a spot for drums.
No, they don't know.
No.
Usually it's in the basement or somewhere, but
hidden away. Yeah. Fortunately, I get to choose where they are, and they are right there
in the living
what
room.
would be the dining room if not for the drums being there.
Exactly.
The dining room table is in the living room.
Exactly.
For this conversation.
Exactly. That's great.
So you're okay. So you're getting ready for a listing. You're doing photos. What kind of like when you take on a listing, you help them take their photos, you help them prepare the space. Kind of what's next for them?
So we usually have a professional person doing the photos.
Okay, yeah.
So we usually have somebody hired to do that because we don't need to take photos on our iPhone.
Exactly. And do you pay for that?
We pay for for that.
So that would come out of your commission later.
Exactly.
So you're investing too.
We're investing into.
If it doesn't sell, then you're on the hook for that.
We're on the hook for that. Exactly.
Right.
So we get them that ready. We get the description written up. We get all the information, the history of the property. We go through and look at the history that when it was sold, the price, and all this stuff previous, what things have been done. We do property conditions disclosure. And sometimes we recommend that a house inspection be done beforehand if they want to spend the money to do the house inspection, so you know what issues are going to come.
Yeah. And then they could sometimes address those before listing. Yeah.
And then it's easier to sell the property since the house inspection's already done. You don't have to wait. Here's the house inspection. It's already completed. And it's actually up on the listing. Some people will do it up in the listing, or we can send it to them.
Oh, wow.
If clients are interested.
Oh, that'd be a great way to kind of to build trust in the purchaser.
In the purchase of the property.
In the purchase of it. Yeah. Yeah.
And then this has been addressed. This has been looked after. This has been looked after. When you see your first house inspection, it
can be intimidating.
It was the first one I looked at, it was like, wow, oh my God. And then I read through, I'm like, okay, that's nothing. That was just basically could be, just need to change that out, super, $10 fixes.
Right. Like changing there's a whole page of changing the electric unit so that they have the GFS
it has to
or
be
whatever it is.
5 feet or 6 feet from the sink to the GSI plug that's beside the sink.
Right.
So it has to be you have to be so many feet.
Little things like that.
And
then, it could, okay.
It could be the filter on the air exchanger needs to be replaced. This needs to be fixed.
Yeah, and just you see the whole list, and it can be your eyes can cross, but then sometimes it's okay, what are the big ticket items that actually need to be dealt with here? And
your septic, your plumbing, your electrical, is there any issues with those? Your furnace, type of thing.
And then so do most, what percentage of people who are listing their property do that? I don't feel like I see that too often.
No, you don't see it too often. Just if somebody wants to be one step ahead in the market, they could do that. Or where we had the really busy market, because home inspections were not even.
Often people,
just said, no, we're just not going in with a home inspection, not going in with financing, no clauses whatsoever.
Yeah, just to have the best offer. It is scary. I've made offers and purchased places like that.
Exactly.
And it is a little scary.
It's kind of your car needs to be inspected by a mechanic each year.
Yeah.
So your house also needs to be inspected, to know what needs to make it function.
Yeah.
By a home inspector, so you know. Yeah. It's kind of like the same thing. So what you do with your car, you should probably do with your house too.
Yeah, totally.
And so people were bypassing that. So you could have gotten could have been bad.
Could have been bad. I'm sure people, and that's the reality. And that is one of the things that I found. And maybe this is I've taken a few punches through the years. I've had things haven't always gone my way.
Yeah.
And, but you know what? I have found that in the moment, something really bad happening can seem like, oh, this is devastating.
Yeah. But then it's not really. You get through it. And you're like, oh, okay, now I know what to look for the next time. Now I've learned from it.
Learning lessons, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah. Have you had any big wallops in your life say if it's from the financial perspective or just anything like that, or career or?
Yes. Yes and no. I'm even getting into bridal, I was like, oh, I thought I always had to have everything for everybody. And then I'm like, I don't need to have everything for everybody.
Yeah.
And it was like, what do I need to have that's a variety of styles? Same type of thing in real estate. It's just like, you can't be everything for everybody.
No.
And it's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
But it's reality. And people will like you. Some people won't like you.
Yeah.
And like, that was the biggest learning thing was when I first opened. It's like, okay, I don't need to buy everything.
I don't need to satisfy every single person. I need to do the best job of serving the people that yes. I can serve, and that makes sense for me to.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. That's cool. So do you have, so maybe on that front, do you have a recommendation? Say if someone wants to approach you as a buyer or as a seller, do you have any recommendation for them? Because, assuming, especially if the Shaw team, say, is investing in photography and things like that, then it's not just free and time to, say, list a place. I'm sure you can't accept everybody who comes. Like, what recommendation do you have for, say, a buyer before they come to you, or a seller before they come to you, to make their best case if they want to have strong representation?
Well, basically, like, I'm not going to refuse anybody at this point in time.
Yeah.
Like, right?
Yeah.
I guess it's just what they're looking for, or what do they have to sell?
Yeah.
Like, do they know like certain things, the age of the house? Do they know what their property number is? What we can always find that stuff.
Yeah.
What are they looking for? What do they need to get out of the property? Or what do you want to spend on a property? Like, just that, and we can have those conversations. So basically it's just reach out. We'll have a chat.
Great.
And we'll hopefully be able to help you either buy or sell.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Is there anything more you want to say before we wrap up today?
I don't think so. I didn't scare you at the panel? Like,
at the panel? Oh, no, I didn't find, no. Actually, I have my notes from the panel. I wonder.
I do. Anything that you missed?
Anything that I missed? WhatsApp videos? You do WhatsApp videos, or is that?
I haven't.
Else's?
Yeah, I was doing WhatsApp videos for clients. So if there's a client out of province, I found it was easier to do videos. Just take the videos and then send them to them via WhatsApp, and that way, because it was a faster way of transferring
and keeping track of it,
keeping track, so that they can go back to the video and see it, versus a FaceTime.
Yeah.
FaceTime, you only see it once, but a video doesn't store it. It doesn't store it. So then, like,
then you have to do it again for everybody, or you have to go back to the site.
And I'm usually like talking throughout the videos. Here's what I see. Like, this looks good. Like that. Like, there's a crack here. There's a crack here.
Yeah.
Everything.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm always going through so they can point things out to them.
Have you worked with a lot of off-island buyers?
I have worked with a lot of off-island buyers.
And so have you had anybody that has not seen the house at all before making the purchase?
Yes. Yeah, until they arrive to live into it. Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, okay, this is great. Like, this is better than I thought," or like, it's bigger than I thought it was.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, because I mean, building that trust is is a lot of trust involved in that. So,
and I want them to be aware of everything when they get here, so there's no surprises.
Yeah, absolutely. So just like share as much of the information as possible.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we
pretty much covered it.
That's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. You said you want to
get into bridal too, as well
as real estate? Bridal. I don't know if I'd be the bridal expert. I think I'd just hand off to you in that case. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
So the Shaw team at Royal LePage, Prince Edward Realty, if they need to get a hold of you, they can search you for that.
Search for me for that, or give me a call or text message.
Yep. And then you can also for the Perfect Pear Bridal.
We're down on Queen Street, next to the old Starbucks where it used to be.
Oh.
Where we co-share a space with Lady Slipper.
Oh, okay.
So we're at the back half. So we're 2 stores in one space.
Okay.
And so there's ladies clothing at the front, and we're the bridal at the back.
And then just like go on the website to schedule an appointment?
Yep, on the website. And if you need to have questions, Facebook us, Instagram us, DM us. We can answer all those questions for you.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Kelly.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, great. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Chattel Fixtures PEI Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, David Cyrus MacDonald. If you want to reach out to me for any reason, please visit chattelfixtures.com to find my contact information, show notes, etc. We're currently looking for diverse and interesting guests. If you would like to have a conversation with me, or if there is anyone you would like to hear me speak with, or have an idea for the show? Let me know. Get in touch through the website or tweet at me at Chattel Fixtures. We're currently seeking out relevant sponsors with solid reputations, serving customers, particularly in some way related to the PEI real estate market. If that sounds like you, get in touch with me if you want to support great, positive conversations about real estate happening right here in PEI. Visit chattelfixtures.com to learn more. Be sure to subscribe to Chattel Fixtures PEI Real Estate Podcast and see you in the next episode.